Evening, folks. Jer here at The View with a impromptu live stream. Fiddling out my camera. Hope everyone's doing well. 349 people in chat. Evening. Hope you're all well. Usual logistical stuff. If you like the channel, you want to support, you can hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and all of that. Full transparency on this. I am not in the know. People keep saying I know stuff. I don't. I just get the information that's around in other places and put it all together. I won't go through chat that much because I'm going to keep this as brief as I can. There is a Pow over on Twitter is doing a Twitter space thing that I'm going to jump on after this as well if anyone wants to have a chat. But I want to bring you the news that's come out today and try and put a bit more context on it as well, because there are other stories in other areas, but it's all looking very, very positive in terms of a full San Francisco 49ers Enterprises takeover of Leeds United. News has come out today from the Daily Mail saying that, as far as they're aware, the deal has been agreed by Andrea Radrizzani, and it is now being passed on to the authorities in order to get it finalized. Yorkshire Evening Post, sorry, get this one right because it's a different paper. The Yorkshire Post have also run with a story that's saying the exact same thing. And we've got some stuff from NBC in America as well, who basically back in April said that Parag Marathe would be the primary owner of the club in this takeover. So what we'll do is we'll get into this. We'll go through the article pretty quick. And then what we'll do is we'll have a quick chat about it. So what I'm going to do is just really quickly change my layout here and share the screen. And there you go. And we'll walk through this. Leeds owner Andrea Radrizzani has agreed to terms of a complete sale of Leeds United to San Francisco 49ers Investment Fund, with details of the deal passed on to the EFL this afternoon for ratification. Mail Sport has learned that 100% takeover of by 49ers Enterprises in a deal which values Leeds at around 170 million includes the ownership of Elland Road, despite the fact Radrizzani previously offered the ground as a security to buy Italian club Sampdoria. 49ers Enterprises already own. We know that they bought from 49ers. It's understood that the 49 Enterprises comprises over 60 separate investors, the most well-known of whom being Chairman Parag Marathe, Pete Lowry. They've spelled the names really badly here. It's Pete Lowry, not Pete Lowry. An Australian billionaire whose family founded the Westfield shopping mall. Again, spelt both names wrong here. It's Marathe and Lewy are both already on the Leeds board, but are expected to name additional appointments as they plan to remain based in the US. The day-to-day running of the club is expected to remain in the hands of Chief Executive Angus Kinnear, who has developed good relationships with both men after being recruited by Radrizzani from West Ham 6 years ago. Goes on to say that Radrizzani has agreed a valuation of, this says £420. Wouldn't that be mad? £420 million with the 49ers had Leeds stayed in the Premier League. That was all revealed last month. Radrizzani's success in agreeing a deal to buy Sampdoria without ultimately using Elland Road last week brought a significant breakthrough, which further positive talks taking place yesterday. The Premier League are understood to have given their approval to this deal, which has now been passed to the EFL, who have been tasked with ensuring that all 49ers investors comply with the owners and directors test. The Yorkshire Post adds a bit more meat to the bones on a few bits, and they go through the usual stuff. We know this again, calling him Pete Lowry. Scrolling through real quick, you'll see at the end of this, the new hierarchy has a number of pressing issues. The relegation is blah, blah, blah. It's wrong piece. Get to the top of this. Sorry. Still trying to put this together. Where are we? Here we go. Yeah. So Yorkshire Post has a deal valued 170 million, includes Elland Road, which you've already said. The commercial arm of NFL franchise had held a stake in the club since 2018. Nevertheless, Radrizzani has been keen to move on, having bought Serie B side Sampdoria last week, which hasn't been finalized either yet. That should be said. There is pressure on him, as we've already said today on the news. So yeah, they're basically saying that these guys, Lowry and all, they plan to stay in the States and come to Leeds when they need to. The deal is now subject to the Football League's owners and directors test, but the 49ers, having been involved with Leeds the last time Leeds played in the Championship, this process should go through quicker. I want a quick look through chat. Sorry about this, folks. A couple of super chats there that I start. Who have we got there? Chronicles, for the Guinness. Good man. And there was another super chat there just to get out of the way real quick. Gary, finally got you live. Thanks, Gary. Always watch, always catch up for me. The new owners for me, silent but deadly approach. They're pretty silent in the States when it comes to things as well. They don't tend to have a huge amount of interaction or come out with an awful lot of things, which I think Leeds fans could do it a bit of for a while, if we're being honest. The piece I wanted to actually show you was this piece here, and this is back in April 14, 2023. There are interviews, but if I play the interviews, I'll get a copyright strike, so I can't play them. But what it does say is the 49ers currently in the process of buying Leeds United. This was back in April. Parag Marathe, the president of the 49ers, will become the primary owner of Leeds United once the deal is done, according to Bruce Schoenfeld of the Sports Journal. There's a bit more in there. He has a quote there where he says, we feel we have a pretty good experience in running sports organizations, Marathe told Schoenfeld. And we feel like we've done a pretty good job in transforming the 49ers from an asset value standpoint, commercial revenue standpoint, and an on-the-field standpoint. We know how to transition from a lemonade stand to a more sophisticated business model. That's what's floating around. Also, which adds a bit more fuel to this fire as well, is this tweet that's come out this evening from Larry Nance. Larry Nance has donated £2,500 to the Square Balls Walk Fund that they're doing with Andy's Man's Club, which is starting tomorrow morning. And Square Ball tweeted him to thank him for that. And the questions here are: much love, best of luck with the walk. When are you coming to Ellen Road to check out the director's box? Larry puts this photograph of him already at Ellen Road, taking photographs with the eye emoji and the shush emoji. It is of the 60 separate investors. There's a possibility that Larry is one of those investors that's in that pool. I suppose we should explain how that pool probably works then, should we? So basically what they've done is the 49ers Enterprises, or the investment arm of 49ers Enterprises, create an investment fund which people of wealth can invest into in order to then help the entirety of the fund go out and invest in other entities, which is what the 49ers have done here. It should also be pointed out the 49ers themselves are an investment arm of 49ers Enterprises. So it's not the 49ers. The 49ers Enterprises own all of the groups beneath that. There's a lot of people in this group. Larry may be one of them. There are potentially some politicians in the US involved in this. It's a venture capitalist style model, and it will bring in a lot of huge revenue. What should be pointed out in this is Marathe is on the board already and is likely to be the primary owner, as it's already said, as well as Pete Lowy. Pete Lowy's family are worth anything, depending on whether you put together or separate it, anything from 4 to 10 billion pounds. One of the wealthiest families in Australia. Pete is a Leeds fan himself anyway, and he is already a director on the Leeds board and will continue in that. They will be the two main investors in this group. And it's from a Leeds fan point perspective, Parag Marathe has had a lot of experience with Leeds. He's done a great job with 49ers in terms of turning that around to a competitive franchise who lost out in the Super Bowl this year after reaching the final. Also on this as well, you look at Pete Lowy. Pete Lowy's been a director on the board for the last couple of years, and being a fan of Leeds, that has to make us a little bit safer knowing there's someone in the box, someone with a voice who's a genuine fan of the club as well, which is huge. Carl's asking, is it done? Catch up, Carl. Catch up. We've done this. So let's give you the clip notes. Let's fly through the clip notes real quickly, okay? According to the Telegraph and the Yorkshire Post and NBC, 49ers are set to name 49ers have agreed a deal with Andrea Radrizzani for the sale of Leeds United in full, including Ellen Road, to the 49ers Enterprises. It says the 49ers are set to name new board members after the takeover is announced. Raj reached a deal for 100% sale. Angus Kinnear is expected to retain his role, and Parag Marathe and Pete Lowy are expected to name new figures as they will be continuing their businesses in the US, visiting Ellen Road as and when they need to. Most of this can be done virtually anyway. There's no need for them to be in Leeds all the time. Ellen Road is included in the sale, as I said. Full terms have been agreed, £170 million. It is now in place, and apparently it has now been sent. The Premier League have greenlit this, and they have sent it to the EFL, where when the shares transferred this week or next week from the EFL, from the Premier League to the EFL have to approve this. But they are expecting a swift turnaround on the EFL's owners and directors test approval, because 49ers Enterprises were already involved with Leeds the last time Leeds were in the Championship. The Telegraph says there's confidence that the deal will be concluded by the end of this week. Everything's stamped off by all the different governing bodies. And they also say that the Telegraph also said the 49ers never waned in their desire to take over Leeds, even after relegation became the guarantee, I suppose. As I said, there are some other people that are involved in this as well. Larry Nance, from who is, by the way, a power forward for the New Orleans Pelicans NBA team. A couple more super chats. Jay has thrown one in there. For the awesome content, pal. Hopefully it will get you a pint to celebrate some white smoke of the weekend. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that. Go straight back into the channel, mate. Trust me. Every penny that's ever come out of this channel has gone straight back into either new microphones, new kit, or new backdrops. So go straight back where it came from. Just to put this man up here. Hello, my friend. Hope you're feeling well. Happy to 14 hours coming in. I was going to be part of the investment group, but Santori was calling. It should also be said that Juan Martinez did have this on his Twitter account yesterday before the Telegraph. Anybody else said it today? So well done, pal. So yeah, it looks like for all intents and purposes that this could be done and dusted. All that it's waiting on now before it's announced or it's finalized appears to be the owners and directors test of the EFL to be completed. Let's hope the EFL don't hate us as much as they hated us the last time we were in the league. But all in all, looks really, really good. Jamie's asking, am I confident the new owners get their house in order? Look, all I can say is, looking at it objectively, looking at it logically, and looking at it from an owner's perspective, they've done a very, very good job of running the 49ers. And what we said on Just Joe's show a couple of weeks ago on the final word were, yes, this is an investment group. Yes, they will want money back from the club. Yes, they will want dividends paid out at the end of every season. But they don't get that unless the club is successful. So unless Leeds are making money, investors don't make any money. So it's hugely important that for these owners that are coming in, it will be massively important that Leeds is a success for them in order for Leeds to make money. So look, it's an interesting one coming into to what's going to be an important couple of weeks for Leeds. I think it looks like it was done. There's huge pressure on Andre Radrizzani to leave Leeds. To see what happened last week with the sale, with the potential threatened sale of Ellen Road or usage of Ellen Road as collateral to buy Sampdoria. His deal with Sampdoria hasn't gone through yet. It's still a couple of stumbling blocks and some red tape to get through in Italy, so that's not confirmed. But he will need the money from this sale in order to complete that takeover of Sampdoria. So 170 million looks like, for all intents and purposes, looks like it's done and dusted. Mr. P, fingers crossed, this will be resolved soon. It looks very, very, very likely. How much is Prag Morate worth? That's a very good question. Let me find out for you. Morate net worth. Easy to find usually. So he's a director, so it might not be as easy. No, you can't get a direct. He's worth roughly 4.5. His earnings himself are 4.5 million. So he'll be involved in this fund. But the fund, if you look at the York family, they were involved in this as well. So the York family net worth, the York family themselves, Jed York being the primary on this, is worth in and around £5.2 billion. And then when you take the Lowies into consideration, it's gone a bit sticky. I hope you can still hear me. Pete Lowies' net worth is said to be in and around 8.5 billion. So you put that together. Basically, if you were to put the York family net worth together and Morate's net, Pete Lowies' net worth together, it should put Leeds in a position where if they were in the Premier League, they'd be in the top 6 in terms of wealth. Wealthy clubs, wealthy ownerships. Dotsy, I'm excited. They run a very good program at the 49ers in the NFL. I think they'll do right. Thanks for the update, shirt. No problem, mate. Anytime. Happy to do it. Yeah, so again, if you look at what they've done in the States, they've done a really good job. This is very different than, say, how the Glazers bought Manchester United, where they borrowed money from a bank in order to buy a club and then transferred the debt from that bank onto the club. This isn't being done this way. This is being sold with capital that they have actually raised themselves. You would have heard a couple of months ago when we talked about this back then, around the time we did the interview with Cam Inman, there was talk that they were actually getting their ducks in a row and are actually going to source the net wealth, the money needed in order to buy the club. The big thing with this is they don't have that money. Most billionaires don't have that money sitting in their bank accounts invested in different things. So they've got to go free up assets and move money around to get it free up. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'm not going to keep everybody. This is a short one. If the Twitter space is happening over on Twitter, check out Pow. I will probably be jumping on there in a couple of seconds anyway, just have a quick chat. But yeah, it looks like a good day for Leeds. It looks like another step towards finalising the completion of the sale of Leeds United from Andre Radrizzani and the Acer Group to the 49ers Enterprises and Pete Lowie as well as part of that. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Juan, if I was involved in the 49ers, I would have 0 points out. But you'd be there. It's that one at the end that counts, mate. Yeah, so that's going to be it, folks. As I said, not going to keep you. I just want to say massive thanks to everyone at Sports Channel. Likes the channel if you want to catch up on today's news. There's a ton of news outside of this in today's news video, which is already on the channel from this morning. if you want to check that out, some stuff around the managerial appointments, possible outgoings, loans, and all that kind of stuff as well. So you can check that out. And if you like the channel, you can subscribe it. We are heading towards 12,000 subscribers. It'd be great to get to that mark. So thanks as always for everyone who supports the channel. I really appreciate it. I say it a lot, but I really genuinely do. So yeah, thanks very much for dropping by and sharing 17 of your minutes with me. Fingers crossed this goes through on Friday. By all intents and purposes, it looks like it's heading in the right direction. So good news, hopefully, on the horizon for Leeds. Have a lovely evening. Talk to you soon. Bye.